Jeff Bezos and the American president, Joe Biden, have been at loggerheads when it comes to major economic decisions over the past few months. Their disagreement has degenerated into a full-blown war on Twitter and has had them bearing fangs at each other since March this year. Things came to a head on July 2, 2022, when President Joe Biden implored companies running gas stations and those in charge of setting prices to reduce their pump price to align with the difficult times that the world is currently experiencing with the war going on in Ukraine. In response to the skyrocketing pump prices, the president had this to say: "My message to companies running gas stations and setting prices at the pump is simple. This is a time of war and global peril." He went further to demand a reduction commensurate with the cost of the product to ensure that ordinary Americans are not exploited by these companies. He was unequivocal in his demands for a reduction. His tone was not meant to coerce, rather, his tone was couched as a threat. Bring down the price you are charging at the pump to reflect the cost you're paying for the product, and do it now. This did not go down well with Jeff Bezos, who appears to view Joe Biden's recent public stance on certain economic issues as a deliberate assault on America's capitalist economy. He made a quick response, which was a scathing remark meant to ridicule the president's demands. Ouch! Inflation is far too important a problem for the White House to keep making statements like this. It's either straight-ahead misdirection or a deep misunderstanding of basic market dynamics. That stung, and we know this because the White House didn't take it lying down. They responded swiftly through the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, whose response was as swift as it was scathing. Oil prices have dropped by $15 over the past month, but prices at the pump have barely come down. That's not basic market dynamics, it's a market that is failing the American consumers. It didn't end there. The next tweet from Karen Jean Price offered us greater insights into this kerfuffle between the presidency and Jeff Bezos. At least, it shows that something else is going on beyond the tweet of July 2, 2022. Jean Price follows her quick-fire response with a scathing indictment. But I guess it's not surprising that you think oil and gas companies using market power to reap record profits at the expense of the American people is the way our economy is supposed to work. White House spokesperson John Kirby also came out to speak in defense of the president when he made an appearance on Fox News. The president is working very hard across many fronts to try to bring that price down. If you think this is the origin of this rivalry, think again. So, what's really behind this long-standing conflict between Bezos and Biden? While the tweets above may appear on the surface to be an argument on what the right pump price should be, it indeed continues a trail of back and forth between the presidency and Jeff Bezos. And they are never on the same page on economic policy. Recall that Joe Biden had sought to lay the blame for the current inflation rates at the feet of the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, earlier in March when he called inflation Putin price hike. Jeff Bezos disagrees. He believes inflation was already here and had climbed to a record 40 years high. The apparent bad blood between the presidency and Jeff Bezos can be traced to Biden's attempts at bringing down inflation through several policies, one of which was to make the wealthiest corporations and individuals pay, a move that did not go down well with Jeff Bezos. On May 13, 2022, the presidency mulled over raising corporate taxes as he aimed to reduce inflation by making the wealthiest corporation carry their own weight. The president tweeted, "You want to bring down inflation? Let's make sure the wealthiest corporations pay their fair share." Jeff Bezos was quick to respond to this, tagging it a misdirection. Bezos' tweet reads, "The newly created disinformation board should review this tweet, or maybe they need to form a new non-sequitur board instead. Raising corp taxes is fine to discuss. Taming inflation is critical to discuss. Mushing them together is just misdirection." Additionally, Jeff Bezos criticized the White House's plans to include $3.5 trillion in federal spending. According to him, they failed, but if they had succeeded, inflation would be even higher than it is today, and inflation is already higher than it has ever been in the last 40 years. Jeff Bezos remains adamant that wealthy people are not the cause of inflation, which he also made clear in his tweet in response to the last previous tweet by the presidency. They know inflation hurts the neediest most, but unions aren't causing inflation, and neither are wealthy people. The presidency did not take Bezos' criticism of the proposed policy lightly and criticized his stance and the stance of other wealthy individuals. It doesn't require a huge leap to figure out why one of the wealthiest individuals on Earth opposes an economic agenda for the middle class that cuts some of the biggest costs families face, fights inflation for the long haul. The presidency believes Jeff Bezos lashes out because he feels threatened by the president's policies that targets tasking wealthy individuals and his corporation already, fights inflation for the long haul, and adds to the historic deficit reduction the president is achieving by asking the richest taxpayer and corporations to pay their fair share. To bring it home to Jeff, the president's tweet specifically mentioned the president's meeting with labor organizers, including some of Bezos' employees. After the president met with labor organizers, including Amazon employees. One thing is clear. Jeff Bezos is not a fan of this administration, and he hasn't lost a moment to show them what he thinks of their economic plans. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to see more Jeff Bezos videos in the future.